Supporters of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and members of civil society groups gathered at the National Assembly on Wednesday, calling for the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to step down, pending an investigation into allegations of sexual harassment made against him. The protesters arrived at the National Assembly gate as early as 8 a.m., few hours before the resumption of plenary. Carrying banners with inscriptions such as Akpabio Must Go and Protect Women's Rights, the demonstrators demanded accountability and urged the Senate to investigate Akpabio over the serious accusations. The protest comes days after Akpoti-Uduaghan accused Akpabio of harassment and claimed he had targeted her after she refused his sexual advances. The explosive allegation was made during a live television interview, escalating tensions within the Senate. The controversy began after a sitting arrangement change on February 20, 2025, which Akpoti-Uduaghan described as retaliation for rejecting Akpabio's alleged advances. A spokesperson for the protesting groups said their objective is to ensure a transparent and unbiased investigation. We are here to demand justice for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and to hold those in power accountable. No one is above the law, the spokesperson said. As of press time, there has been no official response from Akpabio or the Senate leadership regarding the protesters' demands. The demonstration remained peaceful, with security operatives closely monitoring the situation. All right, what do you make of this development?
It's a sad situation that this kind of controversies engulfing our National Assembly at the moment where the country is going through a lot of economic hiccups. But what should I say? I think that if calling for his resignation on an alleged sexual harassment is far-fetched, because the law permits you to be proven guilty before you can go that far. But what I will only add is that it's an allegation, and Akpabio happens to be the third citizen of this country after the president and the vice president. He's the number 3 citizen, so he sits in a very, very important and sensitive position. Now, where I find it a little bit dicey in this whole situation, there's a saying in law, lawyers, my lawyer friend here might know that you can't be a judge and a jury in your own matter. You know, there's a Latin word, a Latin program for that. So, in this case, being as powerful as Akpabio is, and coming from a fellow senator, I don't know if what I'm trying to say is appropriate, but I think for the sake of decorum and respect of public, Akpabio should be suspended or something, you know, pending the outcome of investigation. Because it's a direct allegation based on the position he's occupying. If he's not suspended, there should be other ways where he cannot have a direct influence or effect on the investigations, because this is very serious. A senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria accusing the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of sexual harassment. It's a real bad situation. It's a situation that we have to look at. It can never be a precedent going forward in the future. This has to be dealt with. So I think Akpabio should focus on the House duties and allow a selected, which has nothing to do with it. That's why I was even thinking of suspension, but I don't know if that's possible, for this matter to be looked into, so that if it's a false accusation, what happens when people accuse people falsely will happen to Natasha. If the accusation is right, Akpabio is not bigger than the law. Let the full swing of the law come on him, because he's sitting in a very important position, and this kind of things need to be addressed.
Right, very well. Zinami, what do you make of the story, the protesters storming the National Assembly?
For me, I think that it is good for people to protest. People should protest. That is it's part of our democracy, and it's constitutionally allowed. You know, people should protest. That is the way of expressing yourself. and saying that this thing that we are hearing or we have seen is not the right thing to do, which is a good thing. And we are also thankful that it has been peaceful, which is fundamental in protest. Because when the protest becomes violent, then that means no longer a protest. So it is commendable that people are speaking up on issues like this. And so it's a welcome development. Let them protest. And I've heard that there are pro and anti-protesters, which is good for our democracy.
Isn't that political?
Of course, everything is politics. Akpabio is a politician. Whatever, and Natasha is a politician. The Senate House is a political house.
For the pro-Akpabio protesters, I saw some videos online when some of them were being interviewed. I mean, one woman said that when asked why she was protesting, she said that they called her and told her that they should come and protest, that Akpabio is apparently from their village, their side, and then that Natasha, she was told that Natasha is being stubborn and has bad character. She's here to protest that Natasha should go because she's stubborn and she has bad character.
Okay.
So now the interesting thing is that statement appeared to be very uninformed, right? And if you ask of a truth, why is that you protested? I mean, we had, persons like that who had similar things.
You see. Let me.
One say these protests are politically motivated for whatever reason.
See, you see, that's why I keep on saying that I don't like to speculate. But I have answered you that these persons are politicians. Natasha is a politician. Akpabio is a politician. And they're holding political offices. And so when we have this kind of game going on, it will not be surprising if they are politically motivated. And for somebody to say she's protesting because she heard that Natasha has a bad character, that might also be a good reason to protest. Bad character can be that you are not following laid down rules and procedures, and that you are stubborn. So they say you follow the house rules. Still here, you say no. Okay, I have to protest against you.
So following the house,
listen.
You remember to the house rule is stubbornness.
Yes, of course. Let me take your memory back to when they protested against the bad governors. You recall that one of the guys that protested that I was trending all over on social media was protesting the other time because he does not want food to be too expensive. That's loy, we call it loy in this part of Nigeria. He does not want food to be too expensive, and that was his own reason of protesting. Other people were protesting that things are expensive. His own just his fufu that he was interested in. That one alone should not be expensive. So when people protest, they cannot protest collectively for the same reason. But if you bring their individual reasons for coming to protest, some of them are informed, some are uninformed. Some are protesting for a different reason in a different fora. Some people are just waiting for any opportunity to protest. Okay, I don't join and I'm not going to protest. No, for there are many reasons to protest. So it is not the protest of who is not protesting and who is not protesting. My own is there is an allegation that is a weighty allegation. Let the right thing be done.
Well, the interesting thing about this Senator Natasha and Akpabio saga is that there appears to be a clear transition from what actually started this whole thing and what actually started this whole issue to a large extent. I mean, that triggered this because I see all these things as manifestation of a more fundamental problem. But then the fact that Senator Natasha disobeyed the House rules, right? Because she disobeyed the House rules and refused to vacate her seat when it was, and refused to move to a new seat that was reassigned to her. Just like other lawmakers whose seats were reassigned also moved. She was the person that refused to move, and she's saying her reasons for not doing that is because the seats were reassigned out of retaliation. I don't understand that fully, but I understand that before you become a senator, when you are being sworn in, you promise to abide by the rules governing the House, and it wasn't like you were singled out. It was just your seat that was changed. The seats of others were changed according to the House rules as well. But there appears to be a clear transition from that. Now, that also brings to question, right, when a lot is going on my mind, I would love genuinely to be on the side of emotions in this, but I have to look at issues as they are. Because now, when matters concern women in Nigeria, it's different, right? It is very, 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 very different. Now, nobody's talking about disobedience to the house rules. Everybody is looking at sexual harassment. While that should not be swept under the carpet because it's a serious allegation, the Senate will be expected to do what's right. But of course, there is now a court order barring the Senate from suspending Senator Natasha. So now, what do you have to say to that?
You know, you are taking me to where I was avoiding to discuss about.
You always
know,
go to those places.
You know, so if I am to speak my mind that I've avoided speaking since, if I've to speak my mind, I've avoided speaking since, I am to tell you here that if I was Natasha, I would have approached these things differently. I would have approached these things differently because I keep on sounding it wherever I am that everywhere is ruled by every organization, everybody, every parastatus, whatever you are, is ruled. Even here has rules and regulations that everybody is expected to abide by. And the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, as amended, gives the Senate the powers to make its own rules, its own in-house rules. And senators who are elected into the House are expected to follow the House rules. And there are consequences for that. Get my point now? So if, peradventure, you are beautiful and then somebody is throwing some attention to you, let's assume, that is not the right place for you to express your disagreements. They are using the rules with you. Work accordance with the rules. And so I think there should have been a lot of. I think Natasha is not following these matters with tact. She's just doing it. She's all over the place. All her emotions are all over the place. You know, and I am saying this because what is playing out is I watched when she went to present the petition yesterday in the Senate House. She went against the rules again. When they say a senator cannot present a personal petition written by him or herself. And it is in their rules. And so you must follow that rule. And that petition was rejected. And now she signed it. Yes.
Another senator was supposed to sign.
No, another person. Well. A constituency can be another person to sign for you, not you. And so, you know, when you are grieved, or when you have been wronged, or when you are right, or you feel like you have been wronged, and you want to take steps to correct it, you must be careful. And that is why cases in court take a lot of time before it is settled. You must be careful because even the person that wronged you is also coming to tell you he did not wrong you, and he will follow the rules as stated. And so, if you feel like this man is disturbing you or harassing you in a way you are not, in a way that is not appropriate, you are a senator, for crying out loud. There are ways for you to have evidences by now that Nigerians will have been seeing.
Right.
You know, so to end it all, let it not be as if I'm speaking against her. What I expected Akpabio to do is not to sit and preside in the House. Yeah. He has a deputy.
You should have stepped aside.
Should have stepped aside for a deputy to take over.
This whole thing is
no, as far as the matter is being raised in the Senate building during plenary, he shouldn't be the one sitting. It's a matter against. He shouldn't be the one sitting. He has a deputy. Step aside, let the deputy sit. Yeah. Right. That is my own opinion. And so that when you are presiding, and even though a good point of order, a good point of whatever has been raised, and because you are the one that will hit the gavel at the end of the day, we don't expect you to be sitting on your own case.
Exactly. All right, very well. What do you have to say?
It's a simple thing. You know, should Natasha
absolutely.
But the point is also that there's been consistency, there's been this push between Akpabio and a lot of the female senators. You know, sometimes when these things start building up, one has to be very careful. So he also has to look back at that. Whatever the outcome of this, he has to improve his relationship with the opposite sex. in the Nigerian Senate so that he should not be seen with a particular...
And outside the Nigerian Senate as well.
Exactly.
Not forgetting the NDDC former
issue,
boss
exactly.
crisis.
You
Join
know,
Union.
when you have a consistent issue that
that appears to be a particular line
that can be referenced, it becomes a problem for you as an individual. And it's something that Akpabio should look at himself, whatever the outcome of this is, and make amends for himself.
So I must say something here, please.
Yeah, please.
You know, he has made a good point, but quickly, we must not forget that these allegations that we are referencing, none has been proven.
Exactly.
And so anybody can wake up tomorrow and accuse anybody.
Exactly.
So we don't want these accusations to be flying. That's why I'm saying that Natasha did not follow these things with tact.
Now, what you're saying is she may be right, but she picked the wrong fight in the sense that she disobeyed the house rule.
No.
And she went about it. That's the point. She went about it the wrong way. Right? Okay.
If anybody, because we don't want people to be standing up and accusing people, and at the end of the day, you accuse me, you're suspended. So any woman can just stand up and accuse anyone of sexual harassment, but whether proving or not proving. So these allegations that we have had over the years, none has been, even the one on the NDDC was not proven. You could not prove it. You just wake up and take it to anybody fly away with emotions. We want you to, with the positions they are holding.
It has to be proven.
Yes, they have resources to take these things further.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. I wish we had more time to talk about this, but we have come to the end of our show. Thank you so much, Sinami, for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much, Ugochukwu Ura, for coming. It's always a pleasure.